Hey guys, welcome back, or welcome if you have never listened to one of my videos before. I am really excited. This is Ascending with TiffTALKS22, and I am Tiffany, but you can call me Tiff. But I'm so excited to be back today with this particular topic. I saw this post the other day that triggered my the teacher in me and I felt a need to fill in the gap, right? I recognized a teachable moment, as one of my old friends used to say. I recognized that there was a teachable moment happening and I kind of wanted in on it, okay? I saw a tweet the other day that someone shared as a post, and I just really feel like the energies, divine feminine and divine masculine energy, is something that needs to be discussed. Let me tell you what the tweet says, or what the tweet says. And just because I don't want to be stealing anybody's content, I'm going to say the username is Trey G, but his words were, "I'm feminine until the right woman can bring the masculinity out of me." I'm going to say it again. He says, "I am feminine until the right woman can bring the masculinity out of me." At the end of the tweet, he put, the nail painting emoji. And, his intention was basically to shed a light on certain women and how, and this is weird because I don't even feel like women say this about themselves. I feel like people see and say and recognize this in women. But like not many women who are actually in their divine feminine energy would make this type of statement, right? But anyway, they may make the statement like, "I'm in my masculine energy until I meet the right man who brings out my feminine energy." I feel like, one, energy is not the same as gender. First of all, let's just be clear about that, right? It's not the same as gender, right? So I'm not saying all men have to be masculine and all women have to be dominantly feminine. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that regardless of gender, that's not the message, is what I'll say. I'm saying that regardless of gender, we all hold two different energies within us, right? It's a yin and a yang energy. And one of those energies without the other is incomplete. If they're not moving in synchronicity, then an imbalance is created and that imbalance is going to grow. Okay, so they are really two parts of the same whole. So Trey already has masculine and feminine energy within him. The women that he is mocking already has masculine and feminine energy within them, right? It's just a matter of one being either more distorted or dominant, because usually it's what is necessary, right, at the time. So the thing is, most of us, not most of us, I won't even say most, I'll say a lot of us live consistently in sort of survival mode, right? So the qualities that you display are usually the ones that you need at the time. So if you are a female or a woman and you are single, is what I'll say, even if you're not single, right? But even if you're not single, if you are a female or a woman, especially in this particular society now, um, we're often like in a masculine energy because we are having to or trying to really make things happen for ourselves, because we don't have someone that complements the other energy that allows us to feel safe enough to fall into that feminine energy, because society has conditioned us to be dismissive of feminine energy, to dishonor feminine energy, right? So it's almost like it's more of a masculine energy quality to demand and command respect, right? Leadership, to be in a strong energy, to be in that action-oriented energy where it's like, I'm trying to get things done, trying to make things happen. What you guys have likely heard me say previously is the magic lies, though, because both of these energies are within us individually, the magic lies in learning to balance the two. All right? And what I feel is, and Spirit is showing me and has shown me, is happened in our society, is that there's a dominance of one of these energies, and it's on both sides with women and men, right? And it's creating a divide and a distortion, and it's kind of making things worse. My prayer is that, you know how they say, well, things often get worse before they get better. I'm praying that we are in a time of awakening, that where we're kind of on trend for things to get better. That's what I want to say. That's my prayer, right? Because, boy, some days I'm looking at things and I'm just like, oh, this feels like the worst situation. So I'm hoping it's like, okay, like the storm, we're in the storm and things are about to calm, right? As we move into more people who desire to get into balance. Okay. So let's talk about, first, I think we're going to address divine masculine energy and divine feminine energy. Like I said, regardless of gender, we all hold both of those energies within us. Okay. So it's like, to be a person that is in balance, that means emotional balance. That means mental balance and stability, right? Just for you to be in harmony as a person, as an individual, you have to know when to utilize which of those energies, right? Let me give you an example. A masculine, first of all, I'm torn between saying divine, because not everybody is divine, right? Well, everybody is, but they don't tap into that energy where they don't feel a connection to the universe. They don't feel a connection to source, to God, to nature, to the collective divine energy as a whole. I'm going to venture to say that that's part of the problem. All right. There's like a disconnect that allows that distortion to grow quicker. Okay. I'm trying to speak about this. If you are here, you may already have some type of understanding about it, but I'm trying to speak about this in a way that people are going to really understand. But let me give you like the scholarly way before I start throwing in my examples. All right. I just don't want to lose you where you feel like, okay, I'm not really getting this, because I want you to get it, okay? Anyway, like I said previously, these two energies within us must move like together in synchronicity, right? For us to be balanced. So for example, a person who is always in a position of authority or leadership, maybe that's part of their job description, right? The masculine energy is that of leaders. I'm not even going to say typically. That is the case. It's a part of the archetype for masculine energy. Leadership, protective energy, loving energy as well, logical energy, right? Emotionally balanced and calm energy. but also strong energy, courageous energy, determined energy, right? When you are in balance and you are aligned as a male or female, and your masculine energy is that, things go how they're supposed to go. When you're in that type of position, a leadership position, those are the things that you need to be a good and active leader. But in order to be a female, the yang of that yin, or not a female, but in feminine energy, the yang of that yin, that feminine energy has to be employed when it's necessary. And that is expressed as the ability to compromise, the ability to be gentle, the ability to forgive, the ability to nurture, right? So that's one. Say you are a leader or a boss in your company. Maybe that's the masculine energy is what you need. But when you deal in your emotional partnerships, relationships, connections, or even with your children, it's going to be a need for you to fall into more of that feminine energy. But like I said, the magic lies in knowing and balancing, being able to balance the two, right? So I think what happens is we tend to stay in one, and we stay in it for so long. It's almost like a use it or lose it, that we forget how to fall back into the other position. And so let me give you this example. Like a woman who has been a single mother for a really long time, who is also maybe a boss or in a leadership position in her job or at work, right? She is going to be used to being in that masculine energy, which is the energy of action, right? It's the energy of action, of getting things done, right? Of delegating, of directing, of being in charge, of trying to figure out how to successfully run her household as a single person, manage everything that takes place in that energy. But when you meet someone who is complementary and can take those reins because he is in his own divine masculine energy, and they're able to step up and embody the counterpart that completes that feminine, then she can fall back into her feminine energy where she is more receptive. She's able to be in a more compassionate, calm, forgiving, creative, intuitive, soothing energy. I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope that makes sense. What I feel like happens now is that we are so distorted individually, and that our focus has shifted to where instead of trying to figure out how to fix ourselves individually so that we can contribute to fixing the whole collectively, we look for who's to blame. Blame the women, blame the men, right? And I really didn't want to do that with this particular episode today, but I am definitely a person that believes that I'm pausing because I don't know how y'all gonna feel about this, but I mean, I gotta say it. I'm a person that believes that when men step out of the roles of leadership, then someone has to fill the void, and women step in. So then men develop resentment because they feel like there's competition, while the woman is really in survival mode and just trying to have things continue to move out of necessity, right? But when we don't take accountability, it's like, oh, this woman thinks she's a man, or she's competing with me, or your masculinity, your masculine energy feels challenged. Well, we could talk about like what came first, the chicken or the egg, or we could work on ourselves as individuals and get this stuff into balance so that we can make progress for society as a whole. Because like I said, they really are two parts of the same whole. So again, a divine masculine who is in alignment, that energy, like I said, is going to be strong. It's logical. It's disciplined. It is confident. It is also protective. In our society, those energies are warped. They're distorted. So it's like they become domineering, where somebody wants to be in control. But true control is knowing and recognizing that there's a need for compromise, that both are equally valuable, and it's more beneficial to the collective for them to work together instead of being in competition in an energy of me versus you, right? Because there should be no competition. It's like in the energy of creation. Let's talk about the power to create, to give birth. In the energy of creation, like the sperm and the egg, they're not competing. Because why? They realize, you recognize, even in nature you see it, that those two parts have to work together. Goosey's going crazy too. Those two parts have to work together. Okay? But our society has taught us that, oh, we don't need the other. And that could go both ways, on the side of men and the side of women. That we don't need the other, that we can do it by ourselves, which is true. We can do it, that second part, we can do it by ourselves. However, when we work in unison, in partnership, there's less distortion. Okay? So let's talk about what distortion looks like. Distortion looks like narcissism, right? Because everybody's just in it for self, in it to see what they can get out of it. They are less concerned and empathic with what other people are experiencing or dealing with, or trying to help other people because they want what they want. Women tend to be viewed as objects or objectified, and I don't even want to say women, but it's true. But you know, men can be held as objects as well, or regarded as objects as well. That's distortion. It's distorted. It's a distorted energy. It's a distorted perspective. Also materialism, right? When specifically that divine masculine energy is distorted, that masculine energy is distorted, it's like we seek validation or fulfillment or our worth in the things that we have, what we can accrue, this Benz, this outfit, this type of bundle, this type of hair, right? These types of clothes, right? It's like materialism comes to the forefront, because one, we have a lot of people who are in their distorted energy trying to fill a void by the things that they have. They're trying to define their worth because they have more things, and they feel like this defines me or makes me better than because of. But when your divine feminine and masculine energy is imbalanced, not imbalanced, imbalance, that those there's no seeking like superiority. I'm not trying to make you feel like you less than me, right? So I don't need things to validate or to confirm for me who I am, because I'm comfortable in my energy. And I know that even if I have a lot of things, that doesn't make me better than you, right? So another thing, when the masculine energy is distorted, that consumerism rules. Again, it's all about the take. What can I have? What is going to be mine? How can I control that, right? Something else, violence. Violence is glorified. Why is that? Because toxic masculinity or distorted masculine energy leads to increased anger and aggression, because that energy is dominant, as it continues to build, you tend to not really do what needs to be done, not only to heal, but to learn to master your emotions. You may move into an energy where your emotions are the masters of you. And it's something I think that has been happening culturally over time, and we just kind of become numb to it. So it's like guns, fights, violence, think World Star, right? Those things are glorified and become normal because we accept it as such. But that's because we are in our own distorted energy. Instead of trying to be in the energy of our best selves, our highest selves, right? Some things that impact this distortion is going to be your relationship with your father. So this could have started, this is something that could have started with your father, or the generations, or your father's father, that previous generation. I'm not going to say could have, I'm going to say it did. But it's like generations and generations ago. This is not something that happened with just your dad or with your dad's dad. This is something that has been continuously spreading and happening over time. So those relationships with the father and the father figure, whether they were present or absent, loving or domineering, and then, you know, they were also products of their societies, right? So that relationship, that connection impacts your beliefs and how you behave in relation to masculine energy. So there's really a strong need to, one, try to heal those connections, or at least see and recognize how that connection or the lack thereof affects the way that you perceive men. I hear women say all the time, like, oh, these men are always in competition with women, right? But they'll say, like, they want to be women so bad or something like that. But it's connected to those parental relationships, guys. It is a direct correlation. If you have a masculine who grew up or grows up in an energy with a mother that either has abandoned them or that abused them, or they have some type of trauma with those parental connections, then even if they don't say this, their actions, their behaviors, their subconscious beliefs are developed, and they may tend to treat that sex or that gender with that same type of energy that's reflective of the resentment that they hold. Does that make sense? So I'm going to say, when I said your relationship with your father impacts that, your relationship with your mother impacts that as well, right? Because those two connections are your first and most prominent when you are developing as an infant, as a child, right? So you learn your feelings of safety and security from your home life. You learn what is to be looked at or deemed as important as far as your values go by the people that you are surrounded by, as well as what you see in society as you develop and grow, right? All of those things have an impact. Okay, so one, fixing that relationship, you know, choosing not to embrace cultural norms like the glorification of violence, being super materialistic, because, you know, you got somebody trying to sell you some type of latest fad or trend on with every blink, right? It's on TV, it's on video, it's on social medias, all of them, right? Ads, even in our games, right? So we are so conditioned to want or feel like we need this, and this, and this, and it's slowly distorting our energy, which is a real part of the reason why it's so important to detox occasionally, so you are just not absorbing all the conditioning, all the programming. Okay, you definitely have to learn to process your emotions also in a healthy way, right? Like I said, so that you can avoid that excessive anger, but also so you can really promote that inner peace, that inner calm, and maintain like this emotional balance. So it's like, regardless of what is occurring around you, you're able to still be in a calm space, right? Knowing that, okay, when calmer heads prevail, things just go better, right? When they don't, what happens? We end up in wars and stuff like that. I almost cussed, right? Also, it is beneficial to pursue your divine life purpose instead of being focused on the material things or accruing things or amassing wealth, right? What is it that you were put on this earth to do? When you feel like you have a purpose, you are, as a masculine energy, because we are still talking about masculine energies predominantly, even though I'm kind of all over the place. But when you feel like you have a purpose and you are working towards pursuing that, it like shifts your focus from what is important and from what is not important to what is, right? So you're going to be less likely to allow yourself to engage with people, things, or situations that work to prohibit you from doing what you were brought here to do. Now, if you're still in the matrix or stuck in the matrix where you like, you know what, you feel like you were born to come, live, work, get things, and die, then yeah, you need to start by just connecting to your divinity. Okay, you connect to the fact that you are here for a reason, that your life has a reason, has a purpose to it. Try to pursue what that is, and it's going to change the way you do pretty much everything. Okay. So yeah, meditating and connecting to nature is going to help that. Also, masculines, learn to think critically instead of emotionally or surface level, right? Instead of looking to blame, learn to stand in confidence. Confidence allows you to hold yourself accountable, but also to know and understand and accept that when other people hold you accountable, it's okay. It's okay. We again in a society where we teach, especially, I'm not going to say especially, because that might just be my bias, but where we teach our children what it is that we already carry and believe. So it's like we teach them how to avoid getting caught doing things, how to avoid taking accountability. And I say we, it's definitely not all of them, right? I saw a 11-year-old girl the other day. She called 911 while her family, they were like driving somewhere. She called 911, created a whole little kidnapping lie and everything. Police, like all kind of drama. Something that I noticed was when the police caught up with them, realizing that she was creating this stir and lying about this whole situation, her dad said, okay, take her. He didn't say, no, not my baby. She won't do it again. He didn't say that. He allowed her to be held accountable. What he did say was, she gonna learn today. I bet she won't do it again after this. Right? No, that's not typical society. Typical society is like, oh, let me save my baby. Let me enable. And that's how we end up not learning our lessons, and we become more and more greedy, entitled, self-righteous, all the things. Anyway, so I hope you guys have just a little bit of a better understanding. Come out of that energy, especially when you see posts and conversations being had where it's like, we want to talk about all women being like this or all men being like this, and it's the man's fault and it's the woman's fault. No, 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 no. Let's take responsibility for ourselves as individuals, so we don't see a need or reason to blame whoever is at fault in the situation. It's like we all have to do our part to recover from it on a personal level. Because when we are in balance personally, we're able to contribute to society, and that's going to empower others from the example that we set, right? So again, that masculine energy, it's more than just muscles and brawn, right? It is a mentality. It is an action-oriented energy. It is the yang to the yin of the feminine energy. And this is, like I said, not specific to, men having to be this way or women having to be this way. Let me give you this example, this personal example. I am a single parent, right, for a really long time. I have the special needs son. I think I shared this on a previous live that we did. But I have a special needs son. His father was not active, right? His father is not active in his life. So what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Am I going to sit around and just not focus on or get things done when I have this whole child to take care of, right? And so I was in this masculine energy, especially even too with his healthcare plan and whatnot. The way I described it to my sister the other day was, me, that masculine energy, that's action-oriented energy, that masculine energy in me is like, okay, I'm having conversations with the doctors. What is going to be his healthcare plan? How do we work through this situation, and this situation, right? But then I have to turn that energy off when I'm dealing with my son and move into the feminine side of that, where I'm able to show him compassion and to nurture him and to be empathic to what he's dealing with and going through at the time, right? So the magic, Goose is going crazy. The magic is to find the balance. So what happened for me, even as he began to thrive, over at, after an extended period of time, I mean, it was like years where I was in the masculine energy consistently. I really had to see, especially when my awakening started, to see and learn that, okay, the universe got my back. God got my back. Look at everything that we went through and we made it through. So I don't have to stay in this distorted, angry ass energy. Things happened the way that they happened, not even just in dealing with him in my life. Things happen the way that they happen. They are what they are, but I don't have to carry the trauma, the pain, the hurt, right? That keeps me angry. And I'm safe and secure in my role and my position in this world, because I know that the divine has my back. So I'm learning to be in more of that receptive energy, where I'm able to be more kind, more caring, more nurturing to not just other people, but also to myself. And that's where it started, with myself. And then it started to kind of trickle out to those around me. And I was tapping into my intuition. I was tapping into my creative energy. It's not that I started wearing dresses and painting my nails and stuff, because if you follow me, I ain't the one to be jumping into makeup all quickly. So it's not about looking feminine, because I always did that for the most part. It's about allowing that feminine energy to rule. And so there's like a difference, which leads me to, I hope you guys understand that the magic lies in balancing the two. And masculine, just because you are a male doesn't mean that it is not necessary for you to have to use and to balance the two, because it is. There are times when you being in that leadership, that leading, that protecting, that confident, that discipline, that logical, that strong energy is going to be necessary. And then there are times when you being in that more creative, nurturing, intuitive, gentle, feminine energy is going to be necessary. Let me tell you something. Let me give you this other example real quick. my 18-year-old recently graduated high school, right? And he got into some trouble, like, that we were made aware of, like, right before he graduated. Nothing at school, you know what I'm saying? But it was outside of school. And me, in my emotional reaction, it was feminine energy, because it was very emotionally led, right? Me and my emotional reaction was like, you know what? We gonna cancel the party. We ain't gonna celebrate. We just gonna have the, what did I say? We just gonna do the graduation, and I guess we'll go home, because I don't want to be rewarded no bad behavior. That was me in my emotion and my disappointment. I was talking to my soul balance. I'm so proud of him. My first baby. He's actually my nephew. But he's almost 30. And I was talking to him because I just wanted a masculine's advice. Because, you know, me and his dad, initially, we agreed. But his dad also kind of came around when I came around. But he had already done it. He just hadn't told me yet. But, so I called my nephew, and I told my nephew that, you know, his cousin had got into some trouble. I said, so I feel like I don't want to do it. I don't want to, because I don't want to make it feel like we celebrating him, you know, making bad choices. And he said, I mean, so the celebration was for his graduation, his accomplishment, right? I said, yeah. He said, he graduated, ain't he? I said, yeah. He said, well, let's have a party. I said, okay. Okay, right? So that was like the logical way to look at things. But women, especially when you are in that emotionally reactive energy, we can sometimes allow our emotions to rule. And that's just a way where it wasn't like a violent thing. But, you know, that's the example I said. When he said that to me, and I was like, that's so short and sweet and valid, right? So I called my son's dad, and I was like, I was thinking we should go ahead and celebrate. And he was like, yeah, me too, because the fact of the matter is, he's done the work. We did the work, he's done the work. Let's celebrate it. Those two incidents are completely separate of one another. So let's celebrate his accomplishment. He said, and damn it, I deserve it too, you know. But I was like, okay, that's so funny, because the men got to that from a place of logic, just looking at the situation logically, long before I did, as I was looking at it from an emotional standpoint, right? So that is the value of having both of those energies working in synchronicity and in unison, right? So that said, let's talk about this divine feminine energy. Yeah, no, I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to talk about divine feminine energy, but I want them to have their own episode as well, because I don't want to lose some of y'all. So masculines, let me know if you have any questions. Do you agree with the information that I dropped on you today? I tried to make it as plain as I could so that you guys would understand, because I got to tell you, like, some of the stuff that I look up, and everybody wants to be so you know, profound and sound so spiritual, and like, no, make that shit plain. So I hope I was able to do that today. Fellas, it is so important for you guys to step into this energy of strength, to step into and rely on logic instead of emotion. Emotion has you taking guns to a verbal fight, right? While your logical energy is going to allow you to use your ability to think critically to make better choices and take better action, right? It's going to allow you to be focused and disciplined. It's going to allow you to honor the feminine or the female, divine female or divine feminine, in a way that you are not disrespecting or devaluing or objectifying her, because you recognize the divinity in that female. So you're going to treat her as such. And some of y'all was like, but some of these females ain't. You right. They not. So you separate yourself from that type of energy, because you want the people that you are involved with or that you surround yourself with to reflect you. So if you are feeling like all women are hoes or all women are so ratchet, that's saying a little bit about you. You might need to distance yourself and pick a different crowd, right? Another thing, that confidence is so important. Confidence is what allows you to step up as a leader, as a protector, right? So it really comes down to really deciding that this is who you want to be. This is the role that you want to fulfill. And it's going to allow you to balance that masculine energy also with your feminine energy of being loving, being giving, being kind, being courageous, being compassionate, being empathic, not courageous. Courageous is the masculine, is a masculine energy. Kind, compassionate, empathic. It's a balance of all of those things. And when you are in alignment, you're able to walk in that energy. It's so many who are not. How do you develop that? If you feel like you lack confidence, you better start hitting up those affirmations. Take a self-defense course. Learn to protect yourself, because when you feel like you can protect yourself, you're comfortable trying to protect somebody else, right? But if you can't do that, if you can't do that, or you can't balance that root chakra as well, because that's all about your sense of safety and comfort and security, and how you feel in this world is as a divine being, right? Develop your connection to the divine by getting outside into nature, taking some time to meditate, and allowing yourself to really tap into these energies. But it's a balance. We all have the masculine and the feminine, and the magic lies in balancing the two, knowing when to rely on one over the other, or to incorporate them both for success. All right. I hope this was really helpful, guys. I feel like it's super interesting. I'm just hoping it don't go over nobody's head. I just want us to get it. Okay. So we're going to start this whole thing over for the females in the next episode. Thanks so much for listening. If you've stayed with me for this long, definitely support me by thumbs upping or leaving a comment. Just really let me know what you think. Trust me, y'all, you ain't got to agree with me. You ain't got to agree with me. You don't. And I feel like, you know, the conversation, creating the dialogue is how we learn and how we improve. So share with me what you think. Bye-bye, guys.